Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of A Talk with the Galactics. In this particular episode, I'm going to use a bit of someone's session in this episode because it was a new species I met, well, about a couple hours ago, actually, or less than. This end where we talk is going to be a little short because we're freezing our butt off out here. I'll do a little bit of the channeling with them because they are present, but the species are called the Zune. It's not like the old music player. It's the it's without the E on the end, kind of like sun but with a Z. And they are a race, and you'll hear this in this clip. They are a race that I thought were related to the forest people because they look so much like them. They're basically monkey type race or primate. And at first I thought they were on a planet. This is how big this vessel was. I thought they were on a ship or on a planet, but they were on a ship. And this ship is powered by a forest. Imagine an entire forest preserve type area, or an area the size of the United States, which is all woods, miles and miles and miles and miles of forest and animals and such that are actually the power source for a spaceship. And the way that these beings work is they took a piece of their own planet, like a piece of the landmass, or formed a landmass, and these ships take generations to construct, decades to construct. They have a symbiotic relationship with the dryads in these trees. And always a distraction. Okay. Sorry about that. Came right in as I was trying to explain that. And people don't generally just turn around on the street and leave. And
it's a cul-de-sac.
It's a cul-de-sac, so people generally don't just zoom in here and zoom out like that. So just so you know, that was actually a time distraction. What happened was this person is of the soul group of the Zune people, and their technology. This is how this works. They are in a giant forest, and the giant forest, they wander around very much like the forest people do here, but the forest itself is the bridge of the ship, the command center. It's part technology, part dryad. And they even had dryads from Earth come in, and the Earth was very appreciative for some of the codexes and some of the information that was given to the Earth, and incarnating their people here to actually improve the state of things out there and here. So the Earth was appreciative and gave over some dryads and some elementals. I know this falls under elemental group, but this was more galactic on top of that. So the Zune people come from a very large forest-like planet that they cultivated those trees on the ship. The way this happens is the trees are like the buttons or the command center, where you can control the ship dimensionally, rotate it, travel through wormholes, magnetics, all of that. And
they do it with the Dryadic consciousness.
And they do it with the Dryadic consciousness. So you can say these are elementals, but they still fall under galactic because they are not related to our dryads or elementals or Sasquatch. They are a divergent or separate evolutionary strain, completely separate than the rest of them. They just gained the same look and feel to them. And their planet is off on the other end of the galaxy, kind of like Antumba is off the other way from Orion. These guys are off of the other side of the galaxy, off we would consider to be the right. If we were looking at Orion, it would be off to the right, off in that direction. I know that's a huge area. I'm just saying it's off that direction. I asked them if they wanted to come through for one of these shows, and they said yes. So I don't know how much time they have. I know we're freezing our butt off out here, so or at least I am anyway. So
So you're going to play that clip at first?
Yeah, I'm going to play the clip it now. Just after I'm done talking here, play it now, and you'll hear it's going to be fairly long because they were there quite some time. So I'll include most of what I can, and then we'll move on to Zaire is his name. Is the name of the representative of the Zune people. So enjoy this clip. I'm going to see if it takes me even further out and see your planetary origins. I feel there's like a soul family at work here thinking that, oh, yeah, there we go. Somebody is definitely wanting to talk here. Let me see. I'm seeing there's two different groups at work here, alien-wise. Bad guy wise, I'm also seeing you had insectoid influence and they're mantid influence, but they're I'm seeing a Nordic group, and I'm seeing some other group that is somebody's trying to block. Somebody's trying to block your soul family influence here. I'm sensing an etheric wall here, so I'm going to push past all of this. And True Benevolent Source Creator, please audit this process as of this moment in time. Take down this wall so I may see what's on the other side. Let's see. No, I don't like you. Please back off. No. Close that doorway. No. There was somebody psychically from out there trying to interfere. Wow. You've got a lot of eyes here out here. Let me see. There's good beings wanting to communicate, but at the same time, there's bad ones wanting to block here. Okay, Isaac. Who are the Nordic group? Who's the Nordic group I'm looking at? Is that good or bad? Got it. Okay. There's this blockade that is in orbit around the planet. I'm seeing Orion influences trying to, and military ones that are up in orbit that are actually trying to block your thought forms from connecting to your soul family out there. So we're going to bypass them and change this energy stream, bypass them, and locate where your soul family actually is. Let me see here. And where you came from. Let me see. Or at least one of the expressions. Let me see here. Okay, how did he come to Earth? Let's see here. You were on Atlantis, but I'm looking even back further past that. I'm going to go back to the beginning of when you chose to come into any expression and go from there. Come on, keep going back, keep going back. Whoa, I just warped into onto this other planet that has these very large trees and everything. Let me see here. I took it all the way back to as far back as I could here. Oh, hello. Is anybody present here? Is anybody benevolent, please? Oh, I'm being shown as one of the first expressions you took was like an arboreal, like animal, like a 2D, like animal species. I'm seeing like little monkeys and stuff crawling in the trees here. So, Isaac, is this where his soul first popped into this expression? Yes? Okay, can we go ahead to see what were the first sentient species he was part of? And see what codes he's bringing into the Earth here? Oh, hello. Who are you? Yes, you. You're on that same planet. Were you a species that evolved from the primate species on that planet? Yes. I don't recognize your race. You look kind of like the forest people. Are you of the Anakim or Sasquatch races? No. Okay, you look very much like them, but you're much smaller. Are you native to that world then? Okay. Why are you being blocked so heavily? What is were you cut off from him at some point? Yes, you were. I'm having a hard time understanding you. There's something heavy trying to block us here. Let's see. Audit this transmission. Okay. What's your friend? Do you accept an audit from True Benevolent Source Creator? Yes, you do. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Let's see. I do that to make sure they're benevolent.
Yeah.
Okay. And can I see your heart space, please? Whoa. Yeah. Thank you. You're very high energy. Thank you. All right. All right. I can hardly see you. They look like a hominid species, but they're covered in hair that's slicked back, and they're very narrow looking. They look like a monkey, but they're very thin.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they're kind of like a reddish brown color. And the trees here are very tall and thin. They look like a redwood, but they're very narrow. They're not wide like a redwood, but they're a type of pine. I can actually see that. And
I get so comfortable when I go to the redwood forest, on Walker Road, where like there aren't any other people or other cars around. It's like, wow.
yeah, it looks like your soul origin came from these people. And they, yes, okay, thank you. There's several of them there. Okay, thank you. What is it that you sent him, or he sent himself into the expression to do? What is it that your people need to know? Because obviously he was here for some kind of information or scientific endeavor. Are your people scientific in some way? Do you have high technology that I'm not seeing? You do. Okay. Can I see? Ooh, that wasn't a planet I was on. They actually have spaceships that actually have forests on them.
Okay.
Um, and that they live within this environment. Their technology is actually utilizing the nature energy. It's like this weird dome that has like a point towards the end of it. It's like almost like I don't want to say it's a dart, but it's like it's not triangular. It has this strange, like almost like a spiral looking thing. And I'm not seen this race before.
Because just so that you understand it, we use electrical energy, but that's really wrong. We're supposed to be using magnetic energy. So even a tree uses magnetic energy. So eventually we have to shift to the magnetic energy. And
yeah, that's exactly what they're all agreeing with you on this, because this is why they have a forest on the ship. It's actually helping power the ship, which then aids the plants back. It's like this magnetic loop that's taking place here.
Yeah.
And I've never seen this particular species before. I'm going to actually, where are you located, friends? What star system are you located? Can you please show me on a star map that I'm familiar with? Whoa, they took me clear out. They're showing me on this like 3D model, the star map. Here's the Pleiades, here's Orion. They're way off towards the other edge of the galaxy. Off that direction. Yeah. They're often that's where their ship is located. They're transmitting from.
Because I sleep with a star map, a planetary map, and the periodic table in my bedroom.
They're giving the thumbs up. They're doing this because you're getting this all from them. This is definitely your soul origin point. This is definitely your soul family right here. I'm a very, very strong feeling that they're very happy that this communication has taken place. What was that? Even though blockages had been taking place, you were still feeling him. Correct. Okay. Were you getting codexes out of this by chance? Or were you in it for something else? Obviously, there is a benevolent agenda here, but why did he incarnate? Was this his choice, or was this the group's choice, or both? Oh, he wanted to do this, but were you getting codexes out of this? What I mean by codexes is they're gaining certain understandings by having a member of their soul family here. So obviously, Earth. Was this to help the Earth and to help the rest of the cosmos? Or was there something specific? You've noticed timetables that, or what we would call timetables, like what we were discussing earlier. Certain people only want stuff out slowly. You want it out a little more quickly. Yes. You're not the only race to say this. What, is there some reason? Because you are in it for what? Oh, I see. Your species helps balance other energies out. Okay. And is this both scientific and spiritual as being fused as one? Precisely. Okay. How do you get codexes back out of this? I'm not understanding the cycle here. What are you getting back out of it? What do you need to understand? Okay. Think of it as more like an etheric recon or reconnaissance. To what end? Yeah, balance and ground certain harmonics. Yes, other races do the same, but what specific harmonic are you talking about? Understand. You've hit a creative block. Ooh, somebody doesn't want me to say this. They've hit a creative block, and they know humans have a unique perspective. So one of their people incarnated with human coding, with their own coding as a human. That not only grounds that scientific information, like what you were talking about, that grounds a particular harmonic that in turn humans then can create something vastly different than this race ever thought possible. Like we could take that technological base and make something even more magnificent out of it.
Interesting.
And I've heard this said before by other insiders, where some of these races are using technology that's millions of years old in some cases, or hundreds of thousands of years old, and they've never altered it because why fix what isn't broke? But humans have the tendency to push the envelope. See, we have the tendency to go, how can we make that better? How could we improve on that? How can we improve it aesthetically? How can we improve it, functionality wise? And got it. That's why they're here. Okay, that's why they're here. Okay, they see us as having a unique perspective that, for some reason, they're not geared that way. Even though they're creative when it comes to their technology, it's like humans are open to more doorways and possibilities than they are.
Okay.
And so they sent you in. You can't be the only one of your people. I'm sensing thousands. Correct. Okay. There are thousands of your people here. Little under 1,000. Okay. Okay. Maybe 700-800 somewhere in there. Okay. And that once that's in, if any more of them here, and it would have tipped the balance in a not so good way, but they calculated out how many of their kind to incarnate here. Do you guys have let's see, do you guys have what's known as sleeper bodies, or do you send the entire being in some energetic form? It's complicated. Okay, can you show how he entered this expression when he was born here, and or clear back to Atlantis? Were you trying to improve the harmonics of Atlantis and Lemuria, and you quickly came to realize you couldn't alter those? Correct. Okay. See, there are fixed points in history that they tend to happen no matter what. And Mars was one of them. Maldek was one of them. Atlantis and Lemuria and Egypt were three more. So they were trying to test the boundaries of what they could fix and repair. Like how we test the boundaries of things, they wanted to see if they could pull off what was previously thought the impossible. They said, yes, they're special that way. Okay. All right. But humans, more so in that area. Humans see everything as possible, like an unending amount of co-creation. And your codes are here to remain in the human genome and in the genetic memory. Correct. Okay. Do we get to meet your people at some point? Possibly. Okay. Other than this way. They're opening up more of how they look to me now. I'm seeing more of their environment now. They're beginning to trust the conversation here. So more. This forest they're in, they actually pilot their vessel from this forest. They literally touch these trees, and the tree and the dryadic consciousnesses that are within the trees actually help pilot the vessel, and the magnetics and everything help pilot this vessel. That's the bridge of the vessel, is the forest.
Wow.
That's the main bridge. Yeah.
I couldn't have even imagined that.
Yeah. And they're showing me I'm walking around in this environment, and it looks like how we would go out in the woods is what it looks like. And they're touching these trees, and these symbols and stuff are appearing on the trees. This is quantum based right here. This is I'm seeing these different patterns of lines appear on the trees wherever they touch. Like like horizontal and vertical lines, and they communicate in lines, like just up down like this.
I couldn't have even imagined that.
Yeah, is it just vertical and horizontal that you communicate in? However, oh yeah, show me what one of these devices do. Let's see. Ah, the dryad in the tree is actually. Are those trees linked to Earth too? Yes, of course, through the nexus point, which is Earth is a giant dimensional nexus. So, are these dryads that are in these trees connected to Earth dryad? Yes. All right. And what do the lines, up and down lines, mean? Um, oh, I'm only perceiving them as up and down and left to right. Okay. Um so show me how the. How. Okay, they're interacting with these trees very much like the forest people do here. Like they can use them as like portals too.
Okay.
The Sasquatch here do this very thing. They're very similar. They're actually a race that's from the Pleiades. They're not from here. The Sasquatch aren't necessarily from here. They're another hominid, but that's related to us, but they're not from here. So, oh, and is your race a cousinship to the forest people? Not exactly. Oh, I understand. There is a concept that Randy Kramer brought up in one of his episodes of Cosmic Disclosure that we watched not too long ago, where I had discussed this before, but he described it as, if the universe or source creator or something likes a certain template, it just tends to mirror itself throughout the cosmos. Like there's a lot of hominid-like species out there. And this was an independent evolutionary strain, but it was the universe taking a certain template and copying it, allowing a certain similar evolution to evolve. And this race is quite old too. But these lines, okay, I'm seeing these glowing golden lines that are like going this way and this way, and that's all I'm seeing. I'm not seeing any diagonal ones, but I'm seeing like a whenever they put their hand on one of these spots on these trees that look like, if we were to look at one of these, it would look like it was carved into the tree, like somebody just chiseled it into the bark. But if they touch it, it glows golden, and it's just this like almost like a number symbol where it's like this and like this, and but going further back, it sends a pulse into the tree, which sends a pulse down into the roots, and that tells the command of where they want the ship to go, like this, where they're doing this, and that's how they pilot it, is through like this.
That's fascinating.
Yeah,
that's fascinating.
Yeah, and they're showing me the inner workings, the roots. Then it goes down into the dirt, and they're showing me how the trees get the nutrients back. Is okay. I'm wondering about the process keeping them alive. They would need water, and they would need something in the soil here,
and sun
and sunlight. They have an artificial sun in there too. I'm looking at. I'm seeing like if we went down into Agartha, we would see something like this too. It's like I'm seeing like a single sun, like and it goes in night and day cycles too. Where I'm seeing, I'm definitely seeing a sunset, sunrise there. Is this mimicking your own homeworld? Yes. This is definitely mimicking their own home planet. And and also the nutrients in the soil. Do you have rain and wind cycles, all of that? When needed. Okay. Not completely. Oh, yeah, it would be kind of inconvenient if it was pouring rain on the bridge of your ship. Yeah, okay. But they do get water. Those trees can survive on very little nutrients. Okay, interesting. But what is the energy that I see going into the dirt from the front of your vessel? What is that dish on the front of your vessel? Is that an energy collection type unit? Kind of. Do you work in conjunction with universal and magnetic energies? Is that how you're traveling? Yes, of course. Okay. But that dish I'm seeing, it's like this spiral, and it goes to like this end where it's like this front of the ship is open like a parabolic dish almost. But it doesn't look like how our dishes look. It's kind of like this, almost kind of like a fork. It's kind of like it comes out like this, and their ship is made of some kind of metal on the outside that is absorbing energy, a specific kind of magnetics. And it's kind of like if I look at it, I thought it was black on the outside, but it's more like a deep purple.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like a very dark purple where it's almost black. It shifts and changes colors. Yes, kind of like we have solar panels that equate to energy getting used, is what you're saying. Similar, but only it has to do with magnetics, and the trees enter into this cycle. They're showing me like almost like an infinity symbol where it's a constant infinite energy that's being generated.
Wow.
Yeah. Very advanced. This is a species that's on the order of like millions of years. Kind of. You mean it's more like maybe a couple million? Just a little more than that. Okay. I don't know the exact number, but okay. Let's see. It's complicated. Okay. Are you interdimensional by chance? Yes. You actually can travel through dimensional doorways and everything with that vessel of yours. Yes. Through the magnetic propulsion. And magnetic frequencies and everything. And frequency in general. Are you from another timeline? No. You're from the one we're currently sitting on. Indeed. Okay. You're just further away. Yes, indeed. Okay. Yeah, they're transmitting from a great distance away from here. That ship is also, if they aim it at a certain angle, they can transmit with it too.
Wow.
That's what they're doing. That's how they were able to reach us when we cleared all that other energy out. They were able to reach us.
Wow.
Man, you guys are fairly strong. There's like thousands of them on this ship. This ship, I thought it was smaller than it actually was. This thing's the size of a continent, at least. It is enormous. This thing, if I had to judge the size of this vessel, I would have to say North America.
That's insane.
Yeah, like North America, maybe minus like maybe some of the bottom of Mexico or something. Like some of Canada, and then or most of Canada, all of like the United States, and part of Mexico. That's how big this thing is.
That's just too unbelievable.
Yeah. How many of those vessels you have? You only have a small amount of them. They said somewhere around 12 or 13 of them they have.
Oh.
Yeah, and are all of your people on these vessels, do you have a home planet anymore, or was it harmed in some way? You have a home planet still. You must have a lot of population. They're showing me a hologram of what their home planet looks like, and it's huge. They were able to take pieces of their planet and actually construct these vessels. Takes decades to construct these.
I would imagine.
Yeah, that's like even with their level of technology, it takes decades to fine tune these. Like the harmonics involved, the energies involved, everything. That's why there's only 12 of them.
But they're the size of the United States and more.
Yeah. This is, if you saw one of these hovered over the planet, it would take up part of the sky. So, I know it would scare people. I know you're not going to do that, but okay, let's see. Yeah, I've heard of flying continents before. Lemuria was one of them. I've heard of continental ships before, but I've never seen one this large before. That's the thing. But you actually, they keep reiterating that now they have you can connect easier to him. Yes, tell me more about what he's supposed to be doing in this expression with these technologies. They keep insisting you're on the right path. That it was the entanglements that needed to be cut that was actually encumbering you. It's also some of it was Atlantis, having to do with Atlantis. Just know that what? Oh, I understand. They want you. Do you release any of the energies necessary to release from this that Atlantean and Lemurian past lives?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were wanting that let go of so that you had a cleaner connection to your soul family and your soul. Got it. Okay. So now, since you came in there and eventually were more of a negative harmonic, it's actually slingshotted through history and building back up to now. That makes any sense. I was told this same thing with my Atlantean past life, where I caused a great fall and eventually had to bring about a great lifting. So with this, okay, I'm going to ask them to give me details on the projects you're working on. They're saying this will clear up over the next year, the progression. Well, basically, once you've cleared these entanglements, since these have disappeared, all this will come back into the present, and will actually speed things along and try to, I want to say, make up for lost time. If that makes any sense, where when you get rid of this, it tends to everything tends to reculminate in the here and now, and you'll make up for lost time in 2020. It looks like because of everything that was holding you back. I'm asking more like about some of these military factions, if they're going to stay. Oh, no, I figured as much. They have no power over you at all, other than what you. How can I put it? I want to say what you allow, but what you take on, or they're trying to describe this for me. They're only as powerful as we declare they are. Yeah, it's correct. Oh, and you're saying that to me too. Okay. Now let's see. Thank you. What's your species called, by the way? The what? Let me see here. Do you call yourself the Zun? Zun? Z-U-N? Okay, Zun.
Zun, Z-U-N. Okay, let me write that down. Okay, good.
And what is your name specifically, friend? Are you his guide? Or one of his guides? Yes, what is your name specifically? If you would, please. Can you please repeat that? Yes. Zer is his name. It's with an X. It's X I is that I-A-R or another word? Zer is X-I-A-R is how to pronounce his name.
Okay, but it's pronounced like Z-A-R-E.
Yeah, it's pronounced Z-A-R-E, but it's X-I-A-R. That's the closest spelling that they can.
Yeah. Because going between cross languages.
I haven't heard of the Zune. That's interesting.
Okay, so he's one of my spirit guides. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the first time I've encountered this particular race, so that's very cool. Okay. Can we go back to? Do you have any questions specific for them?
Should I be looking more at the energy technology, the healing technology, or both?
He says you have. He's asking if you have interests in both.
Yes.
Okay. Then a typical guide response. Okay, saying yes. Then they feel that is applicable to why you came in. You're supposed to be adding these harmonics wherever you go, and definitely healing technologies and the other energy technologies as well. This is this is where. Okay, they're wanting to add something in here. Is this why he was in those secret programs that he doesn't remember? To where he was adding that harmonic in there and planting the seed and walking away from that. But now taking that growth that came out of, the growth that came out of those forgotten times, and you're applying it now. The growth meaning the necessary energies from from those secret projects. Okay. Can you explain a little further, please, if you would, friends? Because, of course, the jobs or projects you're working on are a mirror, a positive mirror of what was accomplished in these forgotten programs. And this makes it so that these other factions cannot have control over it, is what you're saying. Of course. Okay. Meaning that isn't too far away from it coming out, is what you're saying. Yes. And what other projects is he supposed to be working on? Are these the fields that he's primarily supposed to be focusing on? Yes. Okay, these are the fields he's primarily supposed to be working. Okay. It seems you're on the right track. It's just that you were being held back by entanglements to Atlantis and Lemuria's shifting energies, and these military factions were kind of raining certain energies down on you.
And I felt that I was on the right path, even though I did things people told me I wasn't supposed to do, like spend all my own money doing them. But I felt that this is what I really needed to do. And I haven't understood why there seems to be so many interferences, and now I'm getting down to exact levels and points. And so that's why this is very, very revealing and very refreshing. And just so you understand just a little bit more about my background. So I came in at age 4. I'm remembering everything. I'm trying to build spaceships and stuff, and getting my mother to buy stuff so I can make the spaceships. And my father is a jazz pianist, and he's making a model of like a UFO that could be built and flown.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Jewish, right? But later on, a few years ago, Eliza told me that, no, you really weren't supposed to go into a Jewish body. And so I don't really connect with all the Judaism family stuff, because I don't really feel connected to it. I'm spiritual, and I just sort of put up with some of it, So.
Oh, yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, it doesn't seem to fit. That's just the shell you chose to come in to use.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're giving me the thumbs up. Like it's like their traditions and energies and ways of doing things are so vastly completely different from the Jewish way of doing things. That's why you don't connect to the.
Yeah, I don't connect at all.
Yeah.
And basically, I don't have lots of friends, or people that I work with, but I also could never do Facebook, because my life to this person is so different to the life to that person, I mean, there's probably 2 people in my entire circle that I could even admit that I had a conversation with you.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because they those couple people would understand, but the rest of them wouldn't get it. Yeah,
they just wouldn't get it, or they just start dialing a number to see if I can be taken away soon.
Yeah, exactly. I've said that on our show several times, where I've encountered people that they just look at you like you have 2 heads. It's like I can
or need to, or you're doing the wrong drugs or too much drug, one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. And your soul family finds this funny to a certain extent. Is they feel like you'll help change this on an energetic level, not necessarily change them per se, but adding that energy into where maybe certain realizations will click for them at certain points in time, like certain inspirations come through at certain points in time. You don't necessarily have to completely alter their thought patterns. It's just little baby steps in certain areas, to the point at least where they're ready to receive some of these other greater scientific pursuits, or scientific aspirations. And yeah, okay, that's what Zaire is saying.
Zaire, thank you for spending some time with us today. I really appreciate you helping to make me feel more comfortable with the path and everything.
He says most certainly, and I can hear my own mind translating his language. His language is more of like a how can I put it? It's more of a breathy sounding language. It sounds kind of like a native language, but nothing like our Native American languages. And my brain translates it because of the quantum field. But
that's interesting, because even when I make and filter my own water, I bless it, and I bring in all my spirit guides to help me energize the water. So this is very interesting.
He says also that's very, very, very good that they're blessing the water and food and all this other stuff.
But he's saying be leery of just other entities, other energies that have been around you. That oh, you mean other humans? Yes. Okay. They're starting to get into the warning phase now. That's like I believe there's other humans that might try to usurp what you're trying to do because they're in competition mode. That you might not know their thoughts. Competition is too strong of a word. To them that's the correct word. Okay. Like somebody who wants it more for business rather than for unity, is what you're saying? Yes, indeed. Okay. Yeah, I've run into several this year that are like that. So that they want it more for self-serving than a service to others, is what you're saying. He says there are a couple people around you in that field that I don't know if you've noticed them yet, but there are other humans they're saying that have more greedy aspirations for this.
Yeah.
So they're saying be leery of who you trust with some of this.
Yeah.
That be careful of the energies you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
And I was given the same warning on some stuff too. So, but they are focusing on that, like, be careful of toxic people.
Yeah.
And and we learned that lesson this year with people we thought were friends too. So, and are you saying some people might walk away that don't belong there, like what they did with myself? True. Okay. People that he thought were important to this, possibly, in some respects. Okay. So you're saying the right energies of the right people will come to this more of that harmonic he introduces. Yes, correct. Okay. They're basically saying you're going to lose people that weren't necessarily for your highest good.
Okay.
And it might not be somebody you expect.
Okay.
And I was told something similar, and we lost people that we thought were allies. So it's usually for the highest good of all, and yourself that take place. So it can be a pain in the butt, but
I'm a firm believer in everything is perfect as it is. You know.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it can suck, but it has to happen usually. But it can be pretty bad, but it usually results in something greater taking place. So that's what they were warning you about. Like, be careful of who you associate with around you, because there's going to. What was that? Yeah, he has. Does he have military people already watching? Other than with this way. Yes. Oh, you mean physically there watching? They do that in all those scientific groups. Yeah. Okay. What he's trying to say is they like to put operatives in some of these situations to observe, like just eyes and ears, and they report back to somebody.
Yeah.
And they're telling me that you have a couple people close to you that not necessarily friends per se, but just acquaintances that may be of that circle.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what they're trying to tell me. I've run into that too, where different UFO groups get people that infiltrate them, like Sasquatch enthusiasts have people that are with them that ends up happening. It's very common. It's a form of them keeping eyes and ears on situations. And if they feel somebody's going too far with it, they might have somebody trying to ridicule whatever's going on, try to stop the project in some fashion. That's usually, or a group in some fashion, try to split it.
I was with the Psychotronic Association in New York in the 70s. And yeah, we definitely knew we were infiltrated and basically killed the whole.
Mm-hmm. I've run into that multiple times with some groups I've been in. Paranormal groups get infiltrated that way too. Let's see. But yeah, that's what they're warning me about, was that. Just be leery. You don't have to be at the paranoid level, like, oh my God, where are these people? But you know, like just be aware that just they already know you're doing it.
Keep your eyes open and then look for the signs of the moves.
Yeah, exactly. Just be leery and aware of what's around you.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that clip. See, coming into contact with species like this, there's usually a general amount of interference that comes with it, like that blockade that we've described. That was the main culprit in this particular session that you've heard. It was a major nuisance, but once that was bypassed, that's when we were able to contact the Zoom. And they basically stated to me in private that these forces aren't as powerful as they let on. It's more smoke and mirrors and illusion. And here comes the rain. Okay. And that's cold. I'm hoping that's not wet.
Well, it's kind of like ice little.
Okay, we'll just do this channeling fairly quickly that they want to do, and we'll go from there. And I'm going to do this and look like a weirdo on the camera. Look like a weirdo on the camera, but oh well. Okay. So we'll just do this really quick. Okay. Okay, Zare, you can come in anytime from our highest good. All right. Dear everyone, I will make this short since we basically displayed our agenda, as it were, on the previous recording, but I will repeat and reiterate a few things. The energy that your people bring to the table is far more vast and far more creative than you let on. You believe you're stuck in a corner of the galaxy. No. You are not as isolated as you know. You have friends around you that you do not know. And that you, as a whole, as a unity consciousness, have far more to offer, even as individuals, to the rest of the galaxy than you realize. What we bring in is to change not only the scientific aspects of what is being presented, but to see what your species can come up with in that interim. You see, we lack some of the creative codexes that your species has. That said, incarnating as one of you, we gain some of those codes and codexes, and plus you gain in return all that you've been seeking not only within the self, but manifestations of both scientific and spiritual creative pursuits. At this interim, I will be open to questions.
Oh, well, thank you. And I haven't heard the clip, guys, so if I repeat something that's been said, I'm sorry. But I am always curious when we meet new races, and of course you're coming in and you're incarnating in to get your own codexes. But do you feel, because again, Earth being at a nexus point, Earth affecting so many other things, do you or have you adopted any type of contribution from your race that you would like to help in this area with energies or with humans or other species?
Indeed, we are bringing in our version of the scientific and or periodic table to the forefront. Our version of science has to do with mainly magnetics and magnetic propulsions, along with different frequency magnetics and magnetic strings. See, there are a number of magnetic intricacies within different frequencies that you are currently unaware of. What we use to propel through space, and not necessarily through time. This is a misconception. We are in the same universal timeline string as yourselves. We are close in evolution to yourselves, just we are in the 8th to 9th densities, as you would say. The type of science that we bring forward emanates within the human side of the codexes introduced into your earthly akashic. Therefore will come out in scientific creativity in the form of magnetic free energy, zero-point energy, and various other free energy services. And also in scientific creativity, along with the emergence of art and what you would call labeling or advertising. This will change some of the vibrations within the sigils within your advertising as well, but to the greater extent, what your species has to offer the rest of the galaxy in that of creation, that of creativity, and that of ingenuity. You see, as we've said, we lack these particular codexes, so therefore we are giving you in return not only access to our database within your earthly Akesh, but the chance to expand within those particular guidelines of science, but not, how can I put it? It is not necessarily guidelines or margins. It is more like, how can you break those guidelines? How can you expand upon them where we have lost? And this is one of our main reasons for being on your world.
So that's interesting, because that is one thing that they talk about, the human creativity, that one of the things that humans do is they just don't accept something for as it is as being maybe a final product or a final way. One of the big things for humans is there's always that creativity. How could it be made better? How could it do more? How could we? And that's actually not necessarily a common trait, characteristic trait of a lot of races. And that's one of the things that other races will be looking at humans for in a technological or engineering or whatever kind of way of being, the creativity that the human brings. So I appreciate you saying that. My curiosity is, since you guys are spacefaring and you have a small, I would call it a small fleet of ships because they're enormous, but it's not hundreds, that you're, the one vessel that I believe you guys are on is the size of North America, really. It's enormous. My curiosity, though, is how often do you guys get home? And then I don't know if you mentioned much about this. What does home look like, your planet?
We do not get home, at least groups of us do not get home as often as we would like, but we enjoy the work that we do, even carrying a piece of our home and what you would call Gaia Force with us. Also that of what you would call the Earth Mother on your world is also with us. She speaks to us quite often through her dryads that she has offered to our space vessels. Each vessel takes several generations to actually construct. They are very complex and made out of the very planet that we live on. It's not like we leave holes on the planet behind, because we have the ability to generate the necessary dirt and plant life. You would consider it to be artificially, but it is accelerated to the point that our planet's Gaia Force, he is actually a male, and our planet's Gaia Force actually approves of the acceleration because he, in turn, gets to exchange materials with your Earth Mother. Very much like a symbiotic relationship is with both Gaia Forces. Our planet is roughly twice the size of your Earth. He is a celestial by the name of Zun, the same as the species that we have shared the name with. He created this name out of his own sound tones and his own vibrations. However, when our species was formed, we recognized this particular name as having a familiarity to us. So our species at one point heard this name and made this the name of our species, even though that is his name, Zun, which is a simplistic way of saying his name. You would see him if he were in his original form before he became a celestial. He would look very much like one of our species. Our species are ape-like, very much like your hominid species are on Earth, and some of the other creations very much like your Neanderthal and Cro-Magnon man, but with a lot of hair, very much like your forest people. The element, or not necessarily elemental, but the celestial named Zun then was able to copy his energetic essence onto the physical plane in your frequency and created a species in his own image. You would think this was a genetic scientist, and you would be at least somewhat correct. The race in which he came from, that he evolved from, was not unlike the forms that your Anakim are today. They were very technologically advanced and very spiritually advanced, and they wished to procreate. Therefore, several of them became celestials, Zun being one of them. And then he, as you would say, conjured this particular race into being by his very own heart and mind. One would see that as mythos, but in this interim, it is more a method of advanced co-creation and co-creative ability.
So that's really interesting. And in general, as you said, that you don't get us home as often because you kind of carry your world with you. So does that mean then you have nuclear and generational families that are on board with you? Basically, there's not a whole lot of people to miss because they're all there? Is that what happens?
Indeed, the entire tribe actually travels with, because these ships are the size of your North America, there's enough room to have encampments. We can camp over a sun, which is indeed artificial, or you would consider artificially based, but it is generated from the very dryadic energies within the trees. So therefore we have cycles of night and day. We can even build structures, homes, and even cities within the city vessels that you see them to be. We can build those where appropriate, very much like your native tribes would have.
And so what you're saying is that your homes would have more of a look of more natural, within the forest type of look to it, not necessarily the concrete jungles that some of our cities are like.
Indeed, we are not necessarily more into stone, we are more into wood, but we are using a type of stone for the foundation of the vessels that was generated by Zun himself on our home world, and it is a type of stone that actually can resonate energetics and magnetics.
So I don't know, again, I do not know if this question was asked, but I'm curious, how old, because if you could put it into linear times, which sometimes that's hard to do, how old would you consider your species to be?
You would see us on the order of millions of years old, further back than your earliest incarnation of the species within the galaxy. We were around long before there were living beings on your planet Maldek in your system. So we are actually quite old. We do not know the scale in which to number it, but older than the civilization on your Maldekian planet.
So when, of course, at that time with Maldek, there was that kind of, let's call it invasionary force to that. You guys seem to be a group that has stayed or steered clear of it, or I don't know if you ever had any encounters, but I was just curious because Chris had mentioned that maybe you guys were able to kind of not get involved or not have as much of a problem or something like that with some of this negativity. So I was just curious.
They found our brainwaves to be incompatible with their harassment, you would say, or their influence. You would say we would have genes of immunity, but we steered clear of the entire Orion War and the Lyran Wars thereafter. We did help where appropriate, but we, for the most part, steered clear of all of the conflicts. But we are aware of all the things in our history that have taken place. Our Gaia Force, Zun, made it clear that he did not want to be a part of violent conflicts and violent wars. So he encouraged us to do the same, that we would be better suited if we went the incarnation route later on in history. He has an entire library of not only your world, but many others within his Gaia resources. So, with that said, he was able to glimpse into multiple timelines and futures and see that the human race was going to be dragged through the mud, so to speak. Now is the time for our people to integrate our knowledge. Also, some of your old history is what was saved by us as well, but we were better suited to stay out of the conflicts altogether.
But even though you did that and you chose a path in conjunction with your celestial to not engage in some of this, it doesn't mean that you don't have extremely good, let's say, defensive capabilities on your ship. Just because people don't involve themselves always in some sort of conflict to grow, there's other ways to grow, and you guys obviously are smart enough to know when to stay out of a fight, or I am sure sometimes you've had to engage in little skirmishes, but you're not defenseless in any way.
No, we are not defenseless in any way. Our method of travel also could constitute as a weapons source, and this is a source that the Orion councils were only partially familiar with. We radiate in a frequency that's incompatible with theirs, so that incompatibility made it virtually impossible for them to even attack us. The vibration that we put into our vessel could also be concentrated as a beam of, you would see it as an incompatibility or canceling out effect of the Orion sources, since they were from a parallel universe that was of an opposite polarity to that of the sources that we draw energy from. So therefore, if that was directed at them very much like a beam of sunlight would be on a vampiric source, they reacted in very much the same way and turned to ash. This made it so that they did not want to come near our species. We only did this out of a form of defense. We did not know what our energy would do around them, but they quickly realized they could not come near our property or our people. So we were able to stay in a perpetual state of either neutrality or not getting involved on any side of any conflict.
So do you feel with your unique energies, once us humans reach a certain point, that we will be able to stand side by side and we will be able to tolerate each other's frequencies and things like that? Or is there going to still need to be a buffer just with regular humans?
Sometimes there will have to be a buffer. It depends on the level the person that you're speaking about is at. Some people are already capable of standing next to a race like myself, even though we are in what you would call 8th to 9th density, even though it is far more complex than your current numbering system lends to it. But there are safety pieces of equipment that can be provided so that we can stand side by side with one another and be more compatible in speech, meaning if somebody's of a different density, you do not always hear the language the person speaks. There are translation technologies that are available to us that are also somewhat available to your own people that can translate alien languages and vibrations. We can aid with this, but also through your own scientific community. You see, within your military, there are people that actually do want to help and participate. Not all of them, mind you, but there are some that have been placed there to improve the states of certain technologies and the states of people, so that people and technologies are more compatible with some of these more, as you say, hyper advanced races. But if we came to Earth currently and showed ourselves in our current form, unprotected from not only your vibrations, but your vibrations are protected from ours, it would not, as you would say, end well. There would still be a slight incompatibility, but there is a compatibility enough, since we have similar evolutionary paths now that are more matching and more compatible, that we can actually communicate now. And also the timelines that you find yourself on, you happen to be on one that we are aligned with.
Well, that's great to hear. Would you consider, we always use the word the optimal timeline, would you consider that timeline the more optimal one for humanity?
Indeed, we are not dictating your own agendas of yourselves, but we are stating that the timeline you find yourselves on as you listen to the sound of my voice is indeed a better one than you were on before in multiple incursions of your modern day Earth, or Earths in which you got to a certain point and that timeline fell away. This is the, as you would say, the 6th time this has happened in your histories that you've rebooted yourselves in this particular fashion, as was said in your Matrix movie, but in a more rudimentary way in that fashion. But this happens to have a truth to it, to where you found yourselves having to reconfigure how you did things, and now the timeline in which you sit on is actually brand new territory that you've never gotten to before.
That's really, I'm great to hear that validation, because the one thing we always try to tell people is that whatever we want now is going to be dependent on our co-creative abilities. If we want to have more disclosure, if we want to have different things like that, we do have to do the inner work, and we do have to learn the skill of co-creating what you want instead of what you don't want. And that's really kind of where we're at. So we're way more in the driver's seat than some people understand that we are. At least that's my opinion. I don't know if you share that.
Yes, indeed we do. We would not be able to communicate with you in even such a way as this if you were not more in the driver's seat, as you would say, more than ever before. The incursions that your military and other unnamed, let's say, alien races incur upon you is minimal compared to what you are capable of. They are merely using illusions, smoke and mirrors, and different density wavelengths, beams, and actually waves to try to control your populace. But within that control lies an opportunity, you see, in order to gain an understanding of what actually is what you are up against. You gaining this understanding, this knowledge, and the knowledge within yourselves is quite important to gain an immunity to what they are throwing at you. Know that it is actually minimal and minimally based. They are actually not throwing at you the full breadth of what they could, because they're not out to kill you. They're out to oppress you and gain energy and genetic resources. This is all that it ever was for. However, there are more source, as you would say, ordained tasks that have been put in place, as you would word this to be, meaning that your true benevolent source creator had a different thing in mind compared to what these other beings and some of your own kind had in mind out of this. With that said, the timelines in which you are jumping currently and ending up on are getting further and further out of this control, because you are finding more and more that you are more in control of your own faculties than they had control over you.
So, yeah, thank you so much. And we actually have some darker clouds approaching, and I'm unsure what's going to get ready to happen. So I'm just going to turn this over to you for any last words.
Indeed. Our people have never been on your world before, other than in incarnated form, since the times of your Atlantis, though we did exist long before, as we've stated. We are here to state now in this recording that your people now are in a more sovereign state than you ever have been in your histories currently, since your race was created and taken from the bones of those that were considered to be extinct by some of the powers that be that existed then. This is not the case. And in the case of your military, yes, it is very fractured. And your cabal, it is very fractured. Know that you cannot be fractured inside of yourself. Therefore, if you are, therefore they have control over you. But if you unify yourself into one being, no multiple names, no multiple identities, no multiple lifetimes, unless there's a certain energy wavelength you need to accomplish your task here, it means no mirroring other lifetimes. You are sovereign, you are one. When you realize that unity within yourself, you help unify the entirety of your race, even those that were once on the opposite side of the fence of you, meaning some of your cabal and military. They will end up changing in vibration as well, if that is their given task to do in this particular expression. This is what we came in to say in addition to what was said on the other recording. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
Ooh, yeah, his coming out of it, it's like kind of like a beige color. I see different color vibrations with each one. This is more beigey, yellow, golden, and it feels very weird. But yeah, she's right. It is. There's a storm coming in over us here, so there's all black up here. So yeah,
they've seen us being pelted a little bit.
Yeah, they've seen us being pelted. Yeah,
well, I mean, it was a little heavier while you were channeling.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it looks like our electronics is going to get wet here. So we're going to end this right now. Thank you everybody for watching this episode of A Talk with the Galactics. Bye bye, everybody.